Glad you could join us. This is Niger Delta Today. My name is Xavier Robert. Niger Delta Today comes to you every Mondays through Fridays on ADBN TV. Here we talk about activities, events, and sensibilities of the Niger Delta region. Well, today, as Nigeria confronts deepening security challenges, one proposal is gaining momentum, which is state policing. With the ongoing review of the 1999 Constitution, there's renewed hope that this long-debated reform might finally get legal backing. But is Nigeria ready to decentralize its security structure? Today, we ask the hard questions. Can state policing deliver real safety at the grassroots, or will it open the door to political abuse? And with the public hearing that, of course, took place in Ika Federal over the weekend, a lot of stakeholders are hoping that this is going to breed some positives when you talk about some of the issues that were raised. And let me Xavier Robert, and doing this with me today is my co-host, Stephen Ode. Stephen, good afternoon to you. Happy New Week.
Same to you, Robert. How are you doing?
I am okay, and I'm just trying to arm myself. It's a brand new week, so
the marathon. For the
marathon. We're set for the marathon.
Yeah, let's delve into it.
Absolutely.
As usual, we'll start with our story of interest. Let's get to Edo State, where the state chapter of the All Progressive Congress has suspended one of its members, Stella Ogbeta, for a period of 6 months. And the decision, ratified by the State Working Committee of the party, follows an earlier suspension by the Oredo local government arm of the APC. Ogbeta's suspension was reportedly linked to a social media post said to have tarnished the image of the party. However, the specific contents of the said post was not disclosed, either in the party's official communique or during deliberations leading to the ratification. Now, this development has triggered wider debate about the constitutionality of such disciplinary actions, particularly when the grounds for suspension are not made transparent. Robert, what do you have to say about this? Because for me, it's already on social media, so it's there for the public to see. What's the transparency about it now?
When we talk about political parties and their activities, especially when it deals with their members, nobody's saying that political parties do not have the right to discipline their members. But then you have to also take into consideration the issue of internal democracy and the way you go about it as a political party, knowing fully well that this person, being your member, also has their constitutional rights that is being protected. So if you're disciplining, you're meting out discipline to your party member, you should also consider that the public have the right to know, why are you sanctioning this person? Absolutely. So, yeah. I mean, in this situation, I'm sure there must have been a public outcry. Why is this person being penalized, and what are the testaments?
However, she's a member of a political party, and they have the right to discipline her. If she doesn't want it that way, then she goes to another political party, because protecting the interest of the organization or like the party involved now is also of paramount importance.
Well, the thing is, when you look at the constitution of political parties now in Nigeria, you see that a lot of political leaders don't really take these parties seriously anymore. They feel it is okay to indulge in anti-party activities. And since they've seen the bigger wigs get away with it, I mean, what is it? What is wrong with another person getting away with it? So it is becoming a recurrent decimal, and the conversation around how to ensure that you uphold party ideologies comes up again. Okay. Because if you don't respect the principles that have been laid out by the political parties that you belong to, it's definitely going to be difficult for you to, respect the rules.
You have to lead by example.
And then you see politicians, when they grant interviews these days, they tend to be giving that impression that there's nothing wrong with associating with other political parties as long as it is for the greater good, in their words. But then you wonder, is it truly about the greater good, or is this about selfish interest?
Selfish interest. Well, we're not there when they're trying to discipline the person, because the video is saying that the outcry is that the content of the video has not been made public. So probably, I don't know whether the content was actually made during the disciplinary issue, whether it was already shown before these issues and outcry are raised.
Yeah, it will be interesting to know what will play out in the coming days regarding this particular incident. And we'll be right here to bring you updates regarding the situation with this suspension. Let's bring you Niger Delta updates for today. First, the Niger Delta updates start here in Akwa Ibom State, talking about the core members in Akwa Ibom State, where Governor Pastor Moino has approved a 300% increase in NYSC monthly allowance, citing economic challenges and the need to complement the federal government's 77,000 naira monthly allowance to core members. He made the announcement at a state delivery meeting held at the government house, Uyo, after earlier approving the reconstruction of the NYC orientation camp in Zaratai, a move praised by a senior NYC official as a compassionate response to present socio-economic conditions. The governor actually made a comment regarding this declaration.
31st August, coppers in Akwa Ibom, apart from what federal government gives them, we have increased their stipends from 5,000 to 20,000.
Well, as part of effort to support education and youth empowerment, Edo State Governor Senator Manda Pablo has approved 1 billion naira for budget support to indigenous students in tertiary institutions nationwide. The governor made the approval at a town hall meeting with youths unveiling an annual initiative to ease the cost of higher education for Edo students with eligibility verified through their local governments of origin. He further stated that the initiative reaffirms his commitment to quality education and youth development.
Now, still in the Edo State, the state is preparing to light up this December with Edo Carnival 2025, a spectacular cultural celebration themed illuminating heritage, celebrating today. The festival runs from December 21 through 27 with pre-festival events starting November 1, including a talent hunt and beer village opening on December 14. Highlights from the event include a heritage carnival, boat regatta, art exhibition, Miss Shinefest pageant, and a grand concert headlined by Charlie Poppy, all celebrating Edo's culture and creativity.
While in Bayelsa State, the Commander 6th Division Garrison and Sector 3 Joint Task Force South Operations Delta Seb Brigadier General Amit Sani says the Army will continue to tighten the grip on the onslaught against illegal oil bunkering and associated crimes in the Niger Delta region. And the Garrison Commander, who was represented by Commanding Officer 6th Division Garrison Admin Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Orubosa Igege, stated this at the Army Free Medical Outreach in Ogoloma community in Okrika local government area of River State. Let's take a look.
We recognize the health challenges facing many communities, and we understand that a healthy population is the foundation of national development and security. That is why we are here today to partner with the people to give them back and to demonstrate that the Nigerian Army stands with you, not just in terms of war, but also in terms of peace and need.
This event exemplifies our unwavering commitment to serving the nation, our community, embodying the core value of discipline, integrity, and service to humanity.
We are really very happy with the military base here, especially Sector 3, for the security while given to us. There is maximum peace in Ogoloma and by extension, Okrika local government.
There you have it, the Niger Delta updates for today. We'll take a break there, and when we return, the conversation of the day would have us talking about the 1999 Constitution, the different public hearings that have been going on, especially here in the Niger Delta region, most recent being in Ika Federal, where stakeholders spoke loftily about different issues, one of them being the creation of state police and the need to alter that section of the Constitution that grants states the powers to have state policing put in place. When you look at the security issues in the country, we want to look at the gaps in the 1999 Constitution and how to plug those gaps towards the insurance that citizens' lives and property are protected. Do stay tuned for that conversation. Hey, thanks for staying tuned. Well, as Nigerians awake to the realization of assessing and amending the 1999 Constitution, the conversation talks about reflecting present-day realities, addressing structural challenges, and meeting the aspirations of Nigerians, particularly those in the Niger Delta region. One issue stands out across the region, which is the urgent call for state policing. In a country where security concerns are deeply rooted in local realities, the push to decentralize policing has in recent times sparked serious debate. While the initiative seems very promising, many still ask, can state policing be the game changer for grassroots security? And will the constitutional review finally give it the legal backing it needs to materialize? Now, what does this hold for communities, the legislative journey ahead, and how can citizens actively shape outcome? Well, join us to explore these questions is the federal lawmaker and House of Representatives member Abak, Etim Ekpo, Ika Federal Constituency. Is also the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development, a key voice in this review process, passionately advocating for the interests of the Niger Delta region. Honorable Clement Jimbo joins us live virtually by Niger Delta Today. Honorable Clement Jimbo, you're welcome in Niger Delta Today.
Good afternoon to the ABBN family and good afternoon, Nigeria.
Thank you for joining us, Honorable Clement.
Well, the conversation around the 1999 Constitution is not new, and the calls for amendment has lingered on for a very long time now. Understand this is the 6th amendment that is being gone for. But would like to understand get some context regarding the public hearing and the aims it hopes to achieve, especially when we talk about the issue of state policing. There were a lot of other issues that came up for amendment, but then bring us up to speed with some background regarding the calls for the amendment of the Constitution.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, of course, if you recall, many of us were in secondary school and we were taught a subject called biology, and one of the subtopics under that subject, is called metamorphosis. So at every point in time, there is metamorphosis that takes place in humans, in living things, even including non-living things. Nigeria is evolving, we all know, and things that we used to do in the past 10, 20, 50, 60, 70 years, even 90 years before now, are changing. And as a result of that, there is a need, a strong need for our ground norms, which is the 1999 Constitution, to be amended, to be retrieved in order to reflect on the current realities and happenings that we find ourselves. And of course, right now at the Constitutional Review Committee level, we are undergoing the public hearing, zonal public hearing, across the 6 geopolitical zones of our dear country. And there are critical items in the Constitution that needs to be rejigged for Nigerians to also know that we are living in a changing times. And one of those critical items I would like to bring to Nigerians in the course of this interview is the Nigerian police. If you recall, in 1930, that was when the formation of the current police system was put together in Nigeria. If you further recall, in 1914, when we had the amalgamation of the southern and the northern protectorates by the British masters, there was also a need for that to happen. Everything we have in Nigeria today is as a result of a reason. So the reason that gave birth to the amalgamation of the northern and the southern protectorate equally gave birth to the formation of the current police system by bringing the northern and the southern police system into one force. And fast forward to today, about 95 years after, we have equally seen the need, because of the growth in our population, for us to also decentralize the Nigerian police force that was initially decentralized into state policing across the 36 states, even including the FC. And that is where the zonal public hearing now is focusing on, among other topical issues in the Constitution. So we are looking at, aside the federal police system, we should also have state police system. And if the primary aim of the Nigerian police force or system is to maintain peace and order, it therefore means many of the crimes that Nigeria is fighting today take place not in the urban centers. They take place in the interline, our local government system, our wards, our communities. So if the local government areas, via the instrumentality of the institution of the state policing in a different state, equally enjoy the presence of a recognized and formidable Nigerian police force, don't we think that it will help to nip in the bud many of the insecurity challenges that bedevil our country? So because of the evolving trends in the society, there is equally a need for us to tinker with our constitution, specifically section 214, that initially said we shall have one Nigerian police force. For us to also say we shall have Nigerian police force alongside with the 36 states, states of subnational, so to say. So
right,
I think it is very important that Nigerians key into this very development for us to nail and nip insecurity within our borders to the bud.
All right, Clement Jimbo. There are many who believe that if the 1999 Constitution has so much loopholes, why not have a new Constitution instead of reviewing it? It has been reviewed for like 5 times now. So there are many that feel that we should have a new Constitution. Don't you think so? Or do you toe that line?
It's still going to be a process. It is still going to be a process to completely do away with the current 1999 Constitution to have a brand new Constitution. It is still a process, and the process is still the process we are following to amend the Constitution. You will still need the National Assembly. You will still need the constitutional review that will spearhead the entire process. And that is what we are here for. So, but of course, you know, a room was not built in a day. By the time we are able to bring this state policing into our grown-ups, we are also going to operate it and see how it has spanned. Well, with nipping insecurity, we are equally thinking of even going into community policing, like the local government policing, because it would not only end in the state. If the Constitution recognizes the local government areas as the take care of government, therefore means we should equally police those local government areas. That is actually where governance matters. So the process of amending is still the process of completely doing away with the entire ground.
All right, Honorable Jimbo. Well, I'd like us to mirror this to what is obtainable globally? That's talking global best practices now. Is this also obtainable in other parts of the world where we talk about constitution review, especially countries practicing the same democracy as Nigeria? What is the modus operandi when we talk about events of this nature? Is it that there are no issues, there's no way to tackle this once and for all? You had earlier spoken about changing times, and as things change, there's always a need to make changes as well and change with the times. What do you make of this in relationship to what's obtainable globally?
Very much for this question. Okay, let us look at the United States of America for an example. The event of is it event that blew up the Twin Tower? Is it 2011?
2011.
That event completely changed the entire security architecture of the United States. It was exacerbated as a result of the event, and because of that, they needed to equally reject how they respond to insecurity in their land. So there is always a need. There is always a need. What triggers the changes is as a result of the happening in the society. And let me also say this: a leader must not always be reactive. We must be proactive. And in this case, this particular amendment, I would say it is a reaction to the emerging security challenges we have in our country. But the moment we put this in place, we will now be proactive to make sure we even install local government policing. Because eventually today, Nigeria is evolving. A population of over 200 million, as against what we had in independence in 1960 of about 45 million. If we don't think out of the box, the increasing population rate will completely overweigh many of our security personnel, which is completely infinitesimal. The total Nigerian police personnel, they are about less than 400,000, and the population of Nigeria keeps increasing. So if we, by the grace of God, finally enshrine this into our constitution to give the subnational power to establish their own police force, don't you think it's going to add to the overall personnel number statistics, which will mark each of the states to complement the Nigerian police force? It is always a reason that triggered what gives rise to what happens in a nation. And in this case, in Nigeria, what has given birth for us to tinker with our constitution, it is the level of...
All right, Honorable Jumbo, I'd like you at this point to bring us some understanding regarding the difference between community policing provisions that are currently being given some support by the government and the state police that is being clamored for to be recognized by the Constitution. I understand there's a difference that people may suffer the risk of mixing the two. Do you understand this difference, and can you bring the viewers up to speed with the critical difference between state policing and community policing that as we have it in some states of the Niger Delta region?
Thank you very much. What the Constitution Amendment Committee is clamoring for, and of course the 36 governors are clamoring for, is not different from what we've been practicing over time, just that it was not recognized in our constitution, in our governors. And as a result of that, it didn't give the state governors or even the communities the leverage to equip their personnel the way they should be equipped in order to tackle the emerging security challenges. But right now, with the amendment in the constitution, it will empower them to deal effectively with that. Then back to your question, community police, like we have Amotekun. Amotekun is a community police, and many different vigilante formation across the different states. They are all there to checkmate crimes. The only difference is that they are not recognized in the constitution. And as a people, we must constantly enshrine our modus operandi in the constitution, So we are simply saying, let state policing be recognized. And most of the personnel that are manning our different community policing will be integrated into the state policing because these communities operate within the state. So there is virtually no difference because a state that wants to police all its local government areas and communities must certainly recruit members of the local government areas and the state across the different local government areas that borders the state to police the state. So there is no difference, so to say. The only difference is that it is not recognized in our ground norm, which is the 1999 Constitution, as we speak.
All right, Honorable Clement Jimbo.